Alright peeps, welcome back to one version. We've got Builder Beavers. Who's this? Is this bloody Builder Beaver Brian me running up to pick up a bit of bloody luggage from all of this rubble here. But in this episode, we are going to be transforming this derelict bit of wasteland here into luscious green growing ground. And while our beavers are picking up all of the planks over there, I reckon it's about time we go ahead and maximum priority a couple of these big owl triple dynamites. At least that row right there. Now there was another thing that we had going on at the end of the last episode, wasn't there, wee babby cats? I believe that was the complete and utter lack of food knocking along. Thankfully we have some haulers knocking the eggplants about. They'll go straight into our food factory over here and turned into eggplant rations. But we have a supply chain issue. And considering we've got so many plants that need to be picked up ready for harvesting, the easiest way to figure out our supply chain issue is to get these bad lads, which store all of the raw resources, upped in priority. And since we can't use our intended way up, because we need this stair to blow up the blooming cascade, which is another thing that'll be occurring in this episode, we will see the glory that will be the cascade. And since we can't use this, we should build another stair dune right next to the other stair dune here. And I reckon that will be spot on. We just need to figure out a bit of fanciness for the side. And I reckon a bit of shrubbery, a bit of lighting, and then in the middle, a bit of roofing. That is a perfect right there. And yo, what? What priority is this stair? Neither one that's never been built. Beavers, you should probably get that stair in. It's quite the shortcut. Now, one thing I can see from here, and I don't need any sort of warehousing to notice this, we need to pick up a lot more mangrove fruits. Therefore, we need to get this bad lad on a maximum priority jobby. So now we've got a couple of things knocking about. We even have some beaver bangers coming over here and just getting the last of this dynamite in. Was I right? Oh, guess who was right? They are, in fact, getting the last of this bloody dynamite in here. And this is some very important dynamite, because we are going to be connecting the big old reservoir into this wee bit of space here, and our only out is this river that's fully controlled and doesn't have any emergency exits, at least not automatic ones. So to stop the big old reservoir going all the way through its fancy pants tunnel here and flooding our entire map whilst emptying itself, I'm going to make some of yees very happy by whipping out some fill valves. That's right, we're finally getting fill valves on the crack, and that's so I can get this target height and set it to 1. Now we will be popping a third fill valve in there, but for now, we need to finish blowing this bloody tunnel up. And yeah, now beavers, we do kind of want those in, so that's a high priority. And it needs to be higher than high priority because they both require planks. Yet another maximum priority for your beavers. Beaver, you should just turn around and slap your plank in there. And having a look at our new farming platform that we popped in, our eggplant rations are chock-a-block, we have water in here, so we should have deed efficient farmers. Speaking of which, how's the canola farm coming along, don't you? Oh, MiGly. That is simply unacceptable, that. Imagine being the type of cupcake that doesn't put a bloody brazier underneath the platform. But now that we got beavers building our bit valves, we need to think about how else we're going to overflow over here. Considering our big bloody aqueduct was exploded, we now need to think of an overflow plan. And that is why I demolished these bits of land right here. Because if we dip the world down, you'll see that it is on the same level as the bottom of our bloody reservoir here. And since this is an even number gap here, I'm going to pop 2 valves on, 1 gallon out and 1 gallon in. So during the temperate season, any overspill from the grand old cascade here will go out into this reservoir, out of these fancy valves right here, and then straight out the back of the map here. But during a long old drought like this, we will have both the big old reservoir and the soon to be deepened long reservoir, feeding our central growing area. I cannot wait to get this in, like. If this is even half as good as I'm picturing it being, it's gonna be fantastic! Almost as fantastic as this bloody brazier here. I love me a brazier. You just gotta watch it even hang about the hole for too long, because you might get your tootsies cooked. I have a problem, like a thinking problem for yous. You can see where foresters, if I click all three of them, they cannot access these mangroves right here. So how were those mangroves planted? That is very strange. Oh, no it isn't! Because we got a bonus temporary forester doing here who can see it all. I'm glad I remembered that, because Gonaro, mate, ye for a temporary forester. Get your plank and log back. We even get 2 more bonus logs just due to that, because this space is reserved for showering. And our river is never ever going to dry up, so there's no worries about having to replant our mangroves down here. And we even have a bloody gatherer flag. Oh, there he is, bloody Gonaro used to be the forester. Now, at 58 years old, they're gunning across the bridge down and sinking into the bloody water, picking every last mangrove fruit. Your colony will be very happy with you, pal. Oh, guess who's got the valves in? Let's have ourselves a bit of a dukes in the tunnel and see just how far along we've came. Ooh, not bad at all. Is this bloody 8 or 9 free planks? I do not like how yous are going and beeline to make a connection like. That was not part of the plan. Oh, yeah, nah. We're only a couple away here. How about we minimum priority these 3 here? So we're still going to be banging in from both sides. Nice and efficient like. However, we should be less likely to drain the big old reservoir during this particular drought. Especially because we might get another short temperate season and it takes a wee while for the big old reservoir to actually fill up. And also, look at our fancy eggplant cave here with all of our tail detailers. And if we turn the world back on, do we have back scratchers? No, we do not. We haven't got round to building the back scratchers just yet. Oh, and I didn't like it when the reservoir's this low, because look, you can see the bottom. You can see all of the bloody flags there. I don't have to press T. Nah, it needs to be much higher. I mean, look at it, 2.13 metres. It should be at least 5.8. Now, over by the warehousing, it looks like our beavers have been contemplating doing something over here, but definitely not actually doing anything over here. Maybe partially because I didn't give them away, dude. Peeps, I can't wait any longer. I need to get this cascade going. I was planning on doing it the last episode, but after the bloody mind-bending maths that was getting this all calculated, hopefully it was correct, because we still haven't done all of it yet, we were fresh out of time, so I'm not making that mistake again. And since we got beaver bangers already over here, let's whip out a warehouse speedy up spectacular. Oh yeah, and it's gonna be a wee suspension bridge spectacular and all. AKA, it's a certified spectacular. Oh, and I'm half tempted, peeps, to just maximum priority all of these dynamites, you know. How are we looking for explosives? 6 isn't ideal, but that's pretty high on the storage there. And we need to blow all of this up so we can store more bloody dynamite. So yeah, now beavers, maximum priority, all of this right here. And then in another speedy up fashion, I want you to bang bang all of these bang sticks in. And we've got 2 explosives factories cranking out explosives. Should be noughts a matter. Oh, you know what I might think about doing after the speedy up bit? Get that centrifuge up to 2 grafters, because I believe it's still at 1 grafter after all this time. With centrifuge thoughts aside, I hope you're keen to see this big old cascade gang properly blown into formation. Or at least, like I said earlier, I bloody hope so. Oh, that's looking fair dinkum. That's alright, that is how I want it. Oh, I cannot wait. I absolutely cannot wait. Let me check all of these corners. We've got no way for beavers to get round on a path. That's how I'm, simplifying it. A beaver can't get around this corner, therefore it's the cascade. Oh, and we should maybe think about getting those back at some point. Nah, we'll just delete it. I was also expecting these to be in, but guess who didn't connect a bloody path? Very simple path, by the way, from here all the way down to here. And they could have easily had those in. Nah, it's alright, we're gonna have to fill this bloody reservoir again, because it's so bloody shallow that it doesn't really hold any water. And not unlike the We're doing to the last layer! We're doing to the last layer, peeps! Ooh, alrighty then. This is a tad alarming. Well, instead of worrying about that, what we'll do is we'll press 3 on here, and then we'll start plumping in a couple of more dynamites. So we need to go and do one from here, and I do believe that's a very simple triple dynamite on the top. And since we're already coming down a layer here, that'll be a double dynamite. And then for the first time in the Cascades history, we are going to be building it up here. So there you go. Now you can see the layers and levels I'm going for there. We may come out one more, but I don't think we will. Because the way this all works, we kinda need that space right there. But anywho, let's finish off this corner here. And I do believe that's genuinely it finished off there. I suppose my question is, if I want that space, do I go ahead and delete these 3 down the bottom and not put this block in? And go too deep as like a design at the bottom here? Yeah, we'll do that, we'll do that. Oh, we got cycle 38. Do we have any water still over here? We do not! That's a very good thing that our water sources are ramping up. We've got the perfect water system. We're going to be sending water all the way down here. Let's join it for a sec. It comes rushing out of this throttling valve. Look at the pressure, it's already waving. And then it comes all the way down here. We're going to hippity hop across the big grafter zone into the fancy pants massive reservoir so we can see it fall out of here. Look at that bad lad gone. It comes down there, down this bit of tunnel here, along to the valve of the throttling variety. That, more importantly, allows water out. And then by the time the water gets out to the river, it's already flowing down here. It's going to hit some very low flow valves, which will cause it to rise up here. Now let's get to speed 4, so we can see it occurring in somewhat real time. And then what happens is once the water level raises up enough, let's go to speed 4 while I move the camera, because that was like 4 FPS. It will start flowing through these valves right here. There it goes. You can see it checking and flowing. And that is what fills up this reservoir. Slash, since we no longer have this bit of aqueduct, the rejuvenated, renovated river here. And on top of all of that, we've got a bit of TNT we can blow up. But like I say, shortly we will be adding some valves in here, getting a bit of automation on the gun with them. I'd say the one that goes out into the long reservoir can be a throttling valve, and the one that comes back in can be a simple fill valve. Now unfortunately, we need to make sure the beavers can still bloom and access all of this here. We either can get your plank back, and also, before anything floods, would you mind getting those in? For now, I'm setting the throttling valve to 50, and of course, the fill valve to 1. Oh, and I was a tad concerned for a second there! But don't worry, peeps, we have not accidentally breached. This bit of throttling valve lets water out, and it spills into the tunnel. Well, now, crucially, we are getting some water in here. And do we have all of these dynamites in? We do not. But I feel safe blowing up these dynamites right here. We shouldn't have any beaver catastrophes. Like I said, old mate there, still thirsty, still running away at the speed of light. Oh, bloomin' heck, mate. Do they call you Mr. Dynamite, do they? Anywho, random references aside, I just want to make sure our beavers, yeah, it's all... Ah, no! They got it bagged in! Our beavers are just sleeping. They're just keeping in the water. Wake up, beavers! No! Why must I do these things? I thought we'd learn our lesson after all them, the exploded beaver. But nay, the last couple episodes have been disastrous in terms of beavers corking it. We are officially sitting at 0 days since a beaver incident. And we didn't even have any mud in our mud baths. At least we have catalyst and we're fancy detailers here. Are you getting a memorial, mate, for old mate that corked it in the bloody reservoir? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, we can't be bloody doing that ever again, like. We need to officially learn our lesson. And honestly, peeps, I reckon the mud baths ganning out of mud is more of a wake-up call than the 2 splody beavers. We are officially on pausing every single breeding pod around the campfire here. Let's get down to beaver level so we can welcome the kits into existence. Welcome, kit. Get up into the cave there. I'll follow you. I want you to go straight into the cave. And then, once you're in the cave, I had to slow down. I want you to go and get the best bloody tail painting you've ever had in your life. Beaver, no! Get back in the cave! Oh, it's clock off the clock! All the adults are coming for their bloody rest and relaxation. Oh, and Beaver, Kate, you have my life. I thought you were going to get yourself a fancy bloody tail. Now, we've at least got to day 3 without a warning, so we can hopefully fill up our reservoirs here. Now, once our reservoirs are full, they switch off their relative throttling valves, and then it all guns into the cascade, which is why it's not really a cascade at the moment. Oh, and right, yes. Let's get our resources back off there, which is, of course, 1 log, 1 plank. And while I was figuring out the rest, well, not rest, we're still going to have to do a bit more TNT and terraforming. But while I was plugging this bit of TNT in, I reckoned we could just extend our path down here. Get ourselves another handy-dandy stair, and then we've got access to all of these. Or at least once we stair up to them, would he? But with that plank and log collected, we can finally connect up our explosives warehouse and store more than bloody 10 explosives. Oh, and our beavers have started work on these bits of warehousing here. Well, they've started work on the platforms around the bits of warehousing. Well, are you, Billy Liar? They've already started on one of their bloody warehouses. Only got 5 more to go and we'll be laughing. And if nothing else, getting our kohlrabi warehouse up and running has allowed us to have more than just berries. We have a bit of kohlrabis, if nothing else. It's weird, peeps. My planks keep flying down when this one plank has paused. But just unpausing this one, not both of them, just this one, will have the planks up at maximum in need time. It's absolutely wild the way those plankers gone. And looky here, peeps, we've got ourselves some TNT stored up. Be indeed efficient in that. And guess who's finally remembering to not up the centrifuge to 2 workers? Because we're nigh on full on extract. We are keeping up with our canola seeds in here at least. But what about in here? Oh, bloody perfect. Love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm sitting here consistently running out of explosives and metal. And I've just got this wood workshop here paused. There's absolutely no need for it. Plus I get a free log, plank and gear back off it. But I reckon this plot of land is better utilised as a bonus explosives factory. And yeah, now beavers, since it's stopping a couple of other grafters from grafting, if you wouldn't mind banging that in with the utmost of priorities. Oh yeah, and in a speedy up bit. I mainly just want to do a speedy up bit to see if the wheels even spin when it's all sped up or if they just look completely static. Maybe they start spinning backwards. Oh, I can't wait to see this sped up. We finally have it in! I say that because we have a bit of a bloody warning on the crack here, which we need to sort out. Oh, we have water down here. That's grand. I'm very happy with that. We have water about to... Oh, yep, that's right. The water's going to overspill here. That's how we've got water down here. Oh, it's alright. The water needs to be down here anyway, but primarily we have a chock-a-block big old reservoir. So we should be doing alright. Oh yes, that's right. I temporarily popped a spiral stair on here because we've got some very important building to be doing in here. So we need to hurry up and get our normal way priorityed up. And this also allows me to get our fancy pants bridge on. Is it 4 long? Is it shite? It's 5 long. And that acts as a loop back. So we have a top layer loop there, going all the way around, or at least we will, once we get our very important bit of block in here. Oh, my beavers have got the bloody spiral stairs in! So we can start storing our canola seeds, our soybeans, and our cassavas. So our beavers down here won't have to worry about having full warehouses any longer. Which means they can pick up the plants when they're actually grown and ready, rather than having to wait for them to get picked up out of the bloody industrial estate. So we should be doing a lot more. The cascade! Mildly misspoke. We should be being a lot more efficient on our food, is what I was planning to say. Well, yeah, nah, look at the bloody cascade! And it's not even taken its final form. Although we can see that it works. Having the bit edges is perfect. And then I definitely want to start cutting into this, like, and having it gone underneath like that. So let's have a look here. We want to start tunneling in, I would say, here at the very least. So we want to get those two gone. Or, to be more efficient, we just get this one gone, and then we plonk a dynamite on top. And then if we go off onto a diagonal while the cascade is falling, I imagine this big bad lad's just opened up. Yep. And then we get 2 blocks of water. Bear in mind we have 2.5 blocks of water coming out of these sources here, as you can see. We send 4/5 of it through here when needed. So it ends up drying up the cascade, to say the very least. However, looking at this, we shouldn't have any water flowing through here because our fill valve is, well, full. Although we should still be getting a nice layer up through here. Hopefully in the next half a day we can sort that out. What is this? Why is the water going up and around that one bit of bloody TNT? It's not even partially built or anything. The wonders of Timberborn, eh? Sometimes water guns up, sometimes water guns down. But whether it's via an aqueduct or just normal gravity, water always ends up cascading in the end. Oh, that is wonderful, that, like. I kinda yet for this to be complete. And we don't have any flooding down here, thanks to our little channel that we popped in. It's all coming out of here. Oh, which means this should be letting water out. But I don't think it's actually going anywhere because, well, you know, we got a bit of a brick wall in the way. Which could mean that we are going to end up overspilling here. But with 0.3 days to a drought, I reckon we can risk it. And hey, Beavers, why have we got water here? Why are you kicking off about flooding? Does this need to be higher than bloody 5.0? Does it need to be all the way up to 7.5 or something? How much water's coming over here? That's the question that needs to be answered. And it's not even going to be answered properly because we're winding down. Alright, this is just going up to 1. Surely that will subside. Well, of course it'll subside the flooding because there's no more. Whoa, okay. Right. So the flooding is occurring from the big old reservoir saw there. Let's leave this at 5.0 because that was not the problem. If we take the world away, you'll see the warehouses that are flooded are actually on land, not over the water. And I reckon the best way to deal with the flooding over here is by creating a bit of a tunnel for the floodwaters just gone straight into there, and then we won't have any issues. So let's start our flood channel from the water. We're going to come out all the way along with some bloody tunnels. Then we're going to get the world back up again so we can see that we need to come up one more layer here. But instead of being a silly Billy, I'm going to go ahead and plonk a dynamite on there of the double variety. Therefore, we don't need to waste resources on that tunnel. We want to continue our drainage canal all the way along to where we get our next spot where we can pop yet another double dynamite. And last but not least, 2x1 tunnels here. Now let's just double check that we aren't going to end up breaking into the reservoir. No, we still have a bit of water there. Now, Beavers, more so I don't forget than anything else, I would mucho appreciate it if you went ahead and got these tunnels in rather quickly. Ooh, and while we're still in the bloody temperate season, why don't we get ourselves a bit of bonus water storage in this corner here? Oh, I didn't mean to stop the cascade! Cascade, come back! Now, I have a feeling the cascade is near coming back, because we've got a drought on the crack. Oh, and look at all of the explosives we're storing up now with our 3rd explosives factory. Now, I've just assigned this warehouse to be dirt, purely so I can delete this warehouse of dirt right here. And if we be a bit cheeky with this area right here, and while I was completely rebuilding this area, I saw the flood actually comes from up here, and then guns down. So I reckon our little barrier canal will be perfect. The water will get trapped into it as it flows down, and it will not continue and ruin everything down the bottom, as it currently is. I mean, imagine if it creeps its way into the bloody cave. It'll put out all of our braziers down here. But if not else, that does mean our reservoir is tippity topped off. And since this pool just disappears into the big old reservoir slash hoosing estate anyway, I reckon it might be worth automating this bad lad with our 1 temp station here. Ooh, we got some new beaver happiness. We got a couple of injured beavers. But other than that, look at that. We're well up there. What are we missing? Fermented shrooms, corn rations. We're going to be sorting a bit of that out. Now, as far as social life and fun goes, we need to step that right up. We need to get more shrubberies on the gun, more lanterns. We've got plenty of busts and statues. And no beavers even seen any of our decorative clocks. But yeah, now, anywho, I'm going to go ahead and rebuild all of this and catch you back. And I reckon this is looking well worth building. Now, we do need to hurry up and get some more builders on the crack. A couple of haulers. Oh, now isn't this nice? We've got a nice blue ribbon across the top of the map here. Thanks to our fancy fill valves, keeping our big central reservoir topped up to a block here. And that's without this vital connection right here blown up. Speaking of blowing up vital connections, why don't we just blow up these two paths here and hope that nobody corked it? And at MiGly, we might need a bloody action replay on that bad lad. Because I swear there was a beaver just straight out the second they heard it gun. Hiss. But yeah, anywho, let's get some double platforms on here. Some paths before I end up forgetting and we'll never have those connections again. Maximum priority so they can actually occur. Ooh, and I should make sure that we do have all of the tunnels in. Because we still need this bad lad in. Annoyingly, is that the only one in all? Ah, look at that, we got both of these platforms in. We got all of these platforms in underneath here. Just this one dodgy tunnel. So to sort that out, we'll just get a fancy pants spiral stair in there. Absolutely not so matter like. But before we plop our last valve in here, we need to make sure our beavers are picking up all of these planks. And that is a maximum priority. Because once you've done that, you need to get this bloody valve in. I know that we have some bonus builder huts knocking about. We're actually getting some stuff done. Our beavers are picking up the planks. Once they're out of here, we are going to have to get that valve in straight away. Alright, beaver, are you picking up the last of the planks? Are you shite? But there's the last of the planks coming out. Away, beavers, get your horses out so I can go and be gone, path. And say hello, fancy throttling valve. That's right, we may as well have a bit of a bi-directional tunnel. So yeah, now, beavers, get that throttling valve in and get these tunnels blown in. Now the priorities are spot on here, so the beavers should get the treated planks and the metal blocks in before any of these tunnels, because it only takes one of those tunnels to be blown up, and we are flooding everywhere. Now hang about, no, for real though, hang about, what is going on here? Why do we have no water level? And is this not, it isn't? How is this broke? How did we break this, genuinely? Alright, I'm going to reset the circuit. So we should be back to normal. We're going to be getting some water down in our bloody renovated, rejuvenated river here. It should be allowing the beavers to have a swim in no time at all. All I will say, I was expecting the water to rise a little bit faster than it currently is. Well, I suppose if we let it go too fast, then we end up with mad flooding knocking about. And that is the last thing you want. Isn't that right, beavers? You don't want to be flooded. Now we've got another well-being score. Does that mean? Oh, it does! That the tribute to ingenuity's up and running. I mean, I reckon our beavers deserve a bit of tribute to their ingenuity. I said beavers, not cupcake. The beavers have done all of this ingenious stuff despite the cupcake's best efforts. That's how it works round here. I didn't jump. Oh, I'm just hanging out on the beaver's tail, smelling the eggplants, watching the show. Anywho, back to what this episode is all about, which is blowing up the cascade hour here. Oh, that's right. We have to click detonate on all three of these because they're not connected. And now for realsies, since we've got our big fancy valves in, we're not worried about any flooding. It's time to unveil me plan here, peeps. I'm gonna go ahead and slap loads of dirt on like that. So we're gonna have the water trapped underneath, full irrigation style, and then we're gonna have lovely growing ground on the tippity top. Yeah, now let me crack along with this, and I'll get back to you when I've got, well, you know, something to show. I'm sure you're already seeing a couple of issues. MiGly, you've just spent the last two episodes blowing up the cascade, and now you're just gonna have it flood your farm. Nah, that is why we need the 2 drops of... I need to delete this block, but I can't because it's supporting the whole bloody thing. Which leads me nicely onto the next lot, which is MiGly. It's not much of a farm if there's gaping holes all over it now, is there? And I'd say you're right. That's why we're putting platforms down. Platforms that do not take up any volume at all, but will allow the dart to be nice and secure on top. Now hopefully that's enough platforms to get all of these plonked in. And there's all me platforms for what should be a full coverage. Now we might have to dip in our route a bit more over here. I'm not entirely sure just yet, so I've left the cascade wall completely free. And I reckon this, beavers, is a nice high priority job for yous. All I've got to say is fingers crossed that all of these blocks are facing the correct direction so they can actually be built. But for now, I want to know, do we have a big hole down here? Oh, we don't. Oh, any particular reason you aren't back here, beavers? Do we have stair access? No, that's gone. What needs to be rebuilt? This does. Oh yeah, and we should probably clean up these stairs, considering we now have duplicate stairs for our beavers to get down and everything. Oh, and our beavers can already get down here. They absolutely bashed those stairs in. Although we don't have access to these medical beds anymore. You might want to think about sorting that out. There we go, beavers. Just as we're drying up another level here, we have a fancy pants new medical bed. Well, you know, when we're not flooded, of course. Medical bed section for our beavers to recover in. And I say you're not connected to a path. Do we have our last bit of tunneling down here? Why, aye, we do, so we can get that spiral stair out of here, collect our bonus log and treated plank, and get our path back up and running. And since we made our way down for our little beaver gatherer flag over here, we have got a lot more of these mangrove fruits picked up. Isn't that right, Mr. Beaver? And that's not even including the fact that we have mangrove fruits stored up all the way in the back here, nigh on half full. Oh, and yeah, now, since we got our big entombed, or soon-to-be entombed beaver statue at the way, we can get our log and treated plank back off there, and get the path connected again. Oh, our beavers have got all of our maximum priority darts in. They're ticking along, now to matter. We still have water in here. So just to show you here, peeps, I'm watching this whole timer relay here. But this resets when the one converted depthy happens, so there. This never gets accumulated up to 9 hours. It always ends up having to be reset. So that, I believe, is what's causing this one change of memory to get locked up on a change of tide. Right, sometimes it's worth just bloody having a look and seeing what's happening, you know? Although one thing I am thinking is that we need to change a few things. We're still using this bloody one reservoir depthy here, and it's getting completely covered up. So this will always be on, or... Well, oh, you know what? I'm actually curious what this will do. I know it'll break everything, but considering it's currently measuring inside that block there, will it just dip up once that dart's in? Or will it just be like, yeah, nah, I'm away, see you, pal. And I'm that curious. I'm actually going to say, beavers, maximum priority that bit of dart in. Oh, look, you can see the irrigation coming and going and that. That should be a lot better once it's all sealed in. It should be, like, consistently green. Should be in the keyword, of course. Oh, and as much as I'm tempted to blow these bad lads up, it's a good thing we didn't, because we've got beaver bangers still out here, banging in all of the bloody TNT. Now what? I'm going to say maximum priority that beaver speed 30. I want all of this TNT in now. I am actually ready for this. All of you can't test before we build. Yes, that is the correct level right there. Alright, beavers, bang these bloody stairs and platforms in. And then once you've got those in, I want you to go ahead and bang these 5 3-deep TNTs in. Well, there we can! Freddy was in! I recognise these big jackets, so we can detonate all of these TNTs. But not the ones down here until we picked up the bloody rubble. Now that cascade is looking beautiful. Looking absolutely perfect. Once our beavers get round to picking up the logs and planks over here, easily like that, we can get this bottom layer detonated. Give it a bit of a kaboomy boom. We shouldn't need to detonate the stairs. That should be at the correct level there. But before we detonate the rest of the TNT, beavers, come pick up your plank and log from over here, please. Like, right now. I want to see it disappear in front of me very fierce. That's so I can click detonate and blow up all of this prematurely because we still haven't put any other tunnels in yet. But it is looking canny. And this was the correct level. Let's blow this up down to where it's supposed to be. Now, beavers should just be able to access all of this from the bottom level here. So it's just a case of casually blowing all of this up. And then since we're going too deep on the cascade, we need to block up all of these blocks here that we just blew up. So that's perfect. You know what, peeps? To keep things simple here, I'm just going to tunnel across the top there. Although I do want these in rather sharpish. Because like I said near the beginning of the video, we need the cascade running in this episode, otherwise I've been a big liar. And I also reckon I'm going to donate this slip of land to the bloody farm. And we already had 3 of these bad lads that were waiting for construction behind them to be plopped in. So now we need to quickly rotate these round so we don't have that error anymore. And our beavers should get to banging in these bits of dirt like knee beavers business. There you can. Straight in. Oh, look at our little foundation for our big farm. Oh, so cute. And hopefully so damn efficient. Well, now beavers, I officially want you to get this dirt in with a maximum priority. Because it's not just the cascade blowing up that we need to make sure is correct. As I alluded to earlier, and has already happened, we need to make sure all of these blickety blocks are the correct way around, or at least remotely correct so they can be built. Oh yeah, and blow up some TNT while we're at it. 3 big old kabooms! Ooh, Beaver's got 2 TNTs in up here. That means we can go ahead and get our final builder's hut on. Quite like this little grafting area. We've got our clock. Oh, we can up the priority of all of these so we can start building our lantern and propaganda banner. And from looking at our well-being earlier, we need to get this beaver bust up and running. And this might seem like a strange old angle to do the speedy up bit from. However, we're about to come out of our drought. So if we go from this angle, you can see the water filling up the big old reservoir, the skinny side reservoir, filling up the cascade, and hopefully cascading down onto our lovely green bits of land. And hopefully there's not too much micromanaging needed to get all of these door blocks in. Although I do have a 100% success rate at failing to correctly build door structures in Timberborn. Yeah, I reckon it might be time to come out of the speedy up bit. What do you reckon? Potentially. What on earth is going on, beavers? Why do we have all of the flooding? This reservoir's emptying really quickly. What happened? These laddies are set to 1. They should be fully closed now. Although annoyingly it doesn't tell you what level it's at. Unless you use the blue bar. So is that open? Because 1's not actually there. See, this is the bloody issue! Right, let's just set this target to 0. Therefore, it should be absolutely closed. We'll do the same for this fill valve right here. And will that sort our flooding? But it should never have flooded in the first place. I mean, it can't be the bad water. That's just a little bit of spillage that's being contained here. All the rest of the bad water's fully within the bad water aqueduct here. Let's just make sure there isn't any holes in here. There's definitely no holes in the reservoir up the top here. Which is what I was concerned about, you know, with blasting in the little flood relief canal down here. But, you know, we should be fine. We don't have any holes. Like, why are we flooding like crazy? Has this lost its automation or something? Nah, that's closed. That's chilling. That was a lot of water to come out there, like. So we're going to have to switch this to unlimited to ease the flooding. Then come back down to 0.5, but the flooding's there again. How is this flooding? What is occurring? Is it this? Right, yeah, so this is reset. So if the 1 reservoir depthy is on, that switches the 1 universal relay on, which isn't working because we're in this dodgy loop. But all this look at me memory does is control this single bit of floodgatage here. That's quite literally all it does. It's the only thing that's looking at it. This bit of floodgate is connected to this depth sensor down here, as you can see. As is this bit of floodgate here. This reservoir's nigh on empty. We definitely need to actually have a look at this circuit and see what is crack-a-lacking like and why it's broken all of a sudden. But yeah, now for now, I just need to ensure that we get all of the flood waters out of here and then change that back down to 0 before we end up emptying our massive reservoir here, which we are doing at an alarming rate. This was full, by the way, peeps. This was absolutely full. It's been like a day, if that, and we've dropped over a block. Where's the water? Look how fast the water's going away! Where's it going? And why is this so, like, up here? It shouldn't be. Legitimately, the only thing that's, like, still coming through here is the trickle of water in peeps. It is a trickle. Like, actually, I need to turn it up more, because it doesn't even reach the throttling valve. That's how much of a tiny little trickle it is that comes through there. So, you know, things are definitely happening on this map, and I have no idea what it is. All I know is that we've got some kabooms to be watching blow up. That will allow a bit more water doing in here. Now, how's the water level in the big old reservoir doing? That's chilling out a bit. It's ebbing, it's flowing, but it's not rocket newt flooding the entire bloody map. Oh look, the wee valve has finally got the trickle through. I suppose we can check and see if this is, in fact, the cause of the flooding. Let's just press 4. Are we going to flood? No, of course we're not, because it's the tiniest bloody trickle! But anywho, back to the speedy up bit. And if any of yous have any idea what that was, like that caused that flooding, I would be very grateful if you let us know, because I am, as you can clearly tell, perplexed by it. But while we've got our beavers banging in that deliciously green dot, I reckon it's a perfect time to transition to an end of episode speedy up bit. Now, how many years saw this coming? We're gonna transform the central reservoir into something. Now, of course, I can't be telling you what we're gonna be doing on that bit of ground there. Then you'd have no reason to come back for the next episode, would you? But I am a bit curious to see what yous think I might be getting up to doing in this little central reservoir bit. Now, hopefully yous can find a way to have a canny old weekend while hanging on the edge of your seat to see what the big reveal is on Monday. But regardless of how comfy you find the edge of your seat, I'll bid you toodaloo.